Hey retailers, welcome to this week's training, and it's all about what to do when you don't have money in your brick and mortar business. So this is a real common problem that we have as retailers. We're running our business, we think we're doing all the right things, yet when it really comes down to it, we're just like wondering, where is all our money? Like, why aren't we making enough money in this business? And it's a really common problem, and it's a great question you ask. And today, I'm going to walk you through a training on how to solve that problem and how to pick up on some of the deficiencies that you might be experiencing or some of the strategies that you might not be employing in your retail business. So, welcome. My name is Alvin. I'm the retail business coach that helps retailers grow their business. And if you're new today, welcome. I would appreciate if you could smash that like button and with today's little workshop slash presentation, there is a worksheet associated with it. If you want a copy of that worksheet, just put in the comment section below the word worksheet. Such a novel concept. And we will make sure that we get it out to you. Easy as that. So I'll just load up the presentation right now. So this is the Mo Money Fast Track, which is this worksheet that we're calling today. And so the main problem that we have, as I alluded to in my brief introduction, was the fact that we don't have enough money in our retail business. And this is a really, really big problem because without making enough money in our retail business, not only will it lead to frustration and a lot of stress, but it's going to make it very difficult for you to grow your business. It's going to make it very difficult for you to reinvest in your staff. It's going to make it very difficult for you to reinvest in equipment and stock. And it's just going to make it very, very challenging for you to pay yourself. And the overall frustration of not having enough money in your business is just, it's really, really frustrating, right? I've been there before. In the beginning, when I was running my pharmacies and when I didn't have a business coach, it was really, really disheartening because I thought I was trying everything. And in fact, I was trying all these different strategies to grow my business. I was doing marketing strategy after marketing strategy and just trying everything under the sun. But because I had no systems in place, I had no way of knowing what was working, what wasn't working. I kind of jumped on to the next strategy. But again, I'm jumping the gun. So that's, one of the biggest problems that we have as bricks and mortar retailers is, and really any business, is that we're just not making enough money in our store. And there are a few reasons why, this happens. And one of the main causes of not having enough, not having enough money in our bricks and mortar business is, I'm not calling us retailers disorganized. I was the only retailer that was disorganized in the beginning. I'm sure all of you are fine. But as part of my disorganization and as part of, working with clients, what I see the cause of not having enough money in the business, making enough money in their retail business is, as retailers, we don't have a budget or a spending plan in place. We really don't know our numbers. We are really unsure of what is happening under the hood in our business. We definitely have no cash flow plan. Needless to say, we think we have a marketing plan, and our marketing plan could probably consist of trying everything under the sun because this particular guru said we should give it a go. The last part, I think, is the cause is that basically we really have no plan or guidance or mentorship in growing our retail business, and we're trying to figure it all out ourselves. And that is a very, very tough way to do it when you have access to coaches and mentors who can show you how to create money in your business and how to ensure that you run your how to run your retail business when you've got to ensure that you can continue to have enough money. So really, really important. So once we get it right, it's going to be pretty much smooth sailing. It's going to be, if we get this right in our business, it's going to be very much smooth sailing for our shop, right? Not only are we going to start to make really good money, we can now start to pay our team, we can reinvest in our business, we can start to spend money on some really good marketing and initiatives to grow the business. And most importantly, I think we can now start to have enough money to pay ourselves, which is hopefully why you got into this bricks and mortar retail store business in the first place. So really, really important. So what I want to run through is some basic steps on what to do, on what we need to do. So these are some strategies that we can employ very, very quickly if you're in the situation where you don't have any money in your, where you don't have enough money in your retail business, right? And these strategies, there are about 3 or 4. If you start to implement them, within the next week, you certainly be well on your way to starting to turn around the situation in your store and have more money in your retail business. Certainly, if you're in that great situation of not having having enough money in your retail business, then you can certainly use the strategies here as well to continue to create more money in your retail business, which is always a good thing. So the first thing that you need to do if you don't have enough money in your retail business is to track your cash flow. So why is cash flow so important? Because quite often the situation is when we don't have enough money in our retail business, there is usually because we've got no understanding of what's happening under the hood. And one of the best ways to understand what is happening under the hood in your business is to start to track your cash flow. And cash flow is one of those things that we all probably have heard about it. And we've probably seen the reports from our accountants or bookkeepers, and there's a whole heap of paper, a whole heap of numbers, but no one's really explained to us what you're meant to do or how do you read a cash flow statement. And that's why accountants go to school for so long, because really I could never read a cash flow statement. I still can't read a proper cash flow statement that comes from the accountants. I have to modify it into a way that's legible. And that's the key thing here, is we really need to understand the flow of cash in your business in a real-time sort of manner. And when I say real-time, I think for us, well, I know for us retailers, weekly is the way to go. So you need to have a way of tracking your cash flow. And for many of us, if we're using Xero or if we're using QuickBooks or something like that, that's okay. It really doesn't give the accuracy. Sorry, it really doesn't paint a picture well enough for me as a retailer. I like to actually log into our bank accounts and track the cash going in and track the cash going out. And that gives you a really good picture of what is happening. I remember the first time I started to track cash flow, it really blew my mind, because now I could really understand, like with X-ray precision, of what was happening in the business. So I think that's really, really important. Once you start to track your cash flow, you are then going to understand where is the money going. For instance, once you start to track your cash flow, you may realize that, oh my God, I'm spending so much money on supplier X. Why are we spending so much money with supplier X? And then you might even just look into it. And perhaps, there is an ordering error there, or perhaps you're not on the greatest deal terms with that supplier. But just by looking at your cash flow, by tracking your cash flow, you'll be able to open up to these new ideas and start to follow them through and start to engage in the right sorts of conversations to really understand what is happening under the hood of your retail business. So that's what you need to do. You need to track your cash flow. The next thing, you need to quickly flush your bank account with cash. And the best way we do that is with our average dollar sale. So just for those of you who don't know what your average dollar sale is, I would really implore you to work it out. Have a look at your point of sale system. Hopefully it's easy to extract. If not, call your vendor, software provider, and get that information. You can work it out manually as well. Whatever you need to do, just work it out with and try and work out if it's accurate. But the understanding your average dollar sale is one of the quickest ways to increase the amount of money in your bricks and mortar store, because by growing your average sale per customer or your average dollar sale, it really is one of the cheapest, most cost-effective ways to increase sales in your store. And there are so many strategies that you can use to boost your average dollar sale. I'll probably link to one of the videos down the bottom here at this time, which you can employ. And it's really about tracking your average dollar sale, figuring out what it is now, because there's no use trying to improve it if you don't know what your baseline is. And this is a big mistake that we make, and I'll touch on this later on, is as retailers, we really don't know our numbers, and so we try all these strategies, and then we reach a point where we sort of give up because we think it's not working without really empirically knowing the numbers in our business. It's so important. So average dollar sale, really important that we know what it is, start to work on strategies to improve it. You need to go so far as to make sure that your whole retail team are aware of what your average dollar sale is. It's such an important metric. One of the most important metrics that you should have as part of your key performance indicator dashboard. But I've spoken about that at length already. So yeah, average dollar sale, quickest way to get more money in your bricks and mortar store. And it's a strategy that you can employ, a strategy to increase the amount of money without spending any extra money on marketing. It involves just a little bit of retraining, a little bit of brainstorming, a little bit of thinking, and definitely a whole heap of implementation. But the most reassuring thing here is, I got to tell you, it's not hard at all. So that's average dollar sale. By the way, as I mentioned, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet in the comment section below. The next thing we need to do is we need to raise our margins. I was just talking to a retailer the other day, and it still seems a lot of us are really unsure on what our margins are. And that's a really big mistake, because knowing our margins will allow us to know how much we can increase our margins, ensure that we're not selling things at a loss. But that's another discussion which I've already spoken about as well. You can see some of the videos, I'll link them down the bottom, about margins. But needless to say, this is a really good time to revisit our margins. And I bet you there are categories within your retail store, there are products within your retail store that you are underselling. And this can be due to a whole heap of reasons, right? Perhaps your point of sale system has stuffed up the price when you've received your item in. Perhaps someone's neglected the whole pricing conversation with that particular product, that being someone's priced it incorrectly. So many issues. And one of the things that we work on with our clients is to have a regular process in place to ensure that we're selling things at the correct margins. So hopefully you know what your margins are, and have a look through the key categories within your retail business and see what products and what categories even that you could raise the margins for. And raise the margins intelligently. Don't be silly and add 300-400% across known value items. It's going to be really, really strategic. And that is one of the best ways to increase the amount of money in your bricks and mortar store very quickly without spending any money at all. It just involves a little bit of your time, and hopefully your team's time as well. You can work on it together to increase the amount of money in the business. All right, so we've got raise margins. The next thing is we need to start managing our money. So this is a really interesting concept that a lot of retailers haven't been taught. And it's so true. I was never, I didn't know about it until I was taught by my business coach as well on what to do with the money. So basically, we need to look at the money that comes into our business. We need to start allocating the money. And the best way to do that is to allocate it by expenses, allocate it by income, allocate it by what our tax contributions might be. And basically, you've really got to allocate, as soon as the money comes in, you've really got to basically put it into a separate bank account and allocate the money aside. And what this does, this forces you to run your business in an optimal fashion. And what it also does is, so basically, if you can't see the money because you've put it away into another bank account and you can't touch it, you only know you've got a certain amount to work with to grow your business. And this is psychologically, this is great for you, because it forces you to work within some constraints and forces you to be really, really creative in the way that you go about growing your business. And good money management is so important, because it prevents you getting to this stage again where you don't have enough money because you haven't spent too much. So good money management is so important. And there's not much more I can say without revealing the whole system. And like I said, copy of the worksheet, just put the word worksheet below. I go through this with my clients. If you need some help with this stuff, just send me a message and we can talk about how we can help you implement a money management system into your bricks and mortar retail business. So that's number 4. We need to manage our money. Whoopsie. Right. So there are 4 strategies that you can employ. You can start to introduce into your business over the next weeks to increase the amount of money in your retail business, in your bricks and mortar store. So if you just do, even if you just did the average dollar sale, you will not you will not believe how quickly you can turn around your business. So important. Okay. So the next thing is we're about to land this ship. So in summary, in order for you to hit slam dunks in your retail business, we need to basically have an understanding, right, of what's going on. Because how can you fix something if you don't really know? If you don't have enough money, how can you fix something if you don't really understand why you're not having enough money? And by employing the strategies that I mentioned previously, especially about tracking your cash flow, you're going to have a much better understanding of what's going on. The next thing is planning, right? We are never taught how to plan as retailers. Nobody's shown us. We don't know the right way to plan. But if we plan during this period of turmoil where we don't have enough money, then we're just going to come out through the other end a lot better equipped. We're going to flush our bank account with cash. It's going to be so much better for our business. And number 3 is really important here, is basically I want you to work with what you have before you spend any money. A big mistake that we make, like I touched on before, is we continue to throw money at marketing. And it's a big mistake because we really need to, while we're going through this period of not having enough money in our retail business, it's so important. And I can't re-emphasize the fact that we need to work within the constraints that we have and really think and get a bit creative. If you can't think, or if you need some help thinking, get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody that can help you think outside the box and work with what you have before you start to spend any money in your business. Cool. All right. That's the end of this. Like I said, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below. If you've got this far, fantastic. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you next time, where I give you more strategies and tips on how you can grow your bricks and mortar retail business. Until next time, thank you. Catch you later.